Good morning. I am Dr.R.Suganya, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science with Cybersecurity. Today we are going to see about Introduction to Major Modules in Cybersecurity. Outline: what is cybersecurity, what is CIA, and 10 major modules of cybersecurity. So, security traditionally has been about CIA, which means confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Security now also includes areas like trustworthiness, quality, privacy, dependability, which includes security, reliability, and fault tolerance. Initially, the term used was computer security, ComputeSec. It then evolved into InfoSec, which is information security, to include data and networks. Now, with web, it's called as cybersecurity. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which is preventing from unauthorized disclosure. We say it is a confidentiality. Preventing from unauthorized modification. Availability, preventing denial of services. 10 major modules of cybersecurity like information security and risk management, access control, security architecture and design, cryptography, network security. Then we come for legal regulations, compliance and investigations, physical and environmental security, business continuity planning, operation security, and here hardware security, performance analysis, ethical hacking and penetration testing. So these are the 10 modules of cybersecurity. So the major like information access security architecture and design, network security, operation security. So these we considered as major modules of cybersecurity. Information security and risk management. Security management, security administration, organizational security model, information risk management, risk analysis, policies, standards, guidelines and procedures, information classification, layers of responsibility, security awareness training. Access control, security principles, identification, authentication, authorization and accountability, access control models, access control techniques, access control administration, access control methods, access control types, accountability, access control practices, access control monitoring, threats to access control. Security architecture and design, computer architecture, system architectures, security models of operations, system evaluation methods, open versus closed systems, enterprise architecture and security threats. In physical and environmental security, we have what is physical security, what will be the planning process, how to protect the assets, internal support systems, and what will be the perimeter security and other aspects. Telecommunication and network security. In this, we'll be seeing about open system interconnection reference model, TCP/IP, and what will be the types of transmission, LAN networking, routing protocol, networking devices, networking services and protocols, intranets and extranets, metropolitan area networks, remote access, wireless technology, and rootkits. In cryptography, we will be seeing about history definitions, what will be the types of ciphers, the methods of encryption, types of asymmetric system, message integrity, primary key management, link or end-to-end encryption, email standards, internet security and attacks. Legal regulations and compliance investigation, cyber law and cybercrime, intellectual property law, privacy, liability and ramifications, digital forensics and investigations and ethics. Application security, database security, software and application security issues, secure systems development, application development and security, object oriented system and security, and we have distribution, computing and security, expert systems, web security, mobile code and patch management. Operation security, the role of operations department and what will be the administrative management, the assurance levels, what will be the configuration, media controls, data leakage, network and resource availability, mainframes, email security, vulnerability testing, and information governance and risk management, security management, administration and governance, policies, standards, guidelines, procedures, information classification, roles and responsibilities, risk management and analysis, best practice. Security management, administration and governance. Information security describes the activities that relates to protection of information and information infrastructure assets against the risk of loss, misuse, disclosure or damage. Information security management, which describes controls that an organization needs to implement to ensure that it is sensibly managing these risks. And vulnerabilities, how susceptible to your assets are to attack, impact will be the magnitude of the potential loss or seriousness of the event. Here we have like standards that are available to assist organizations which implement the appropriate programs and controls to mitigate these risks. For the example, and like information technology, infrastructure, library and COBIT. So we have to establish and maintain a framework to provide assurance that information security strategies are aligned with business objectives and consistent with applicable laws and regulations. So we have like policy standards and guidelines and procedures. A baseline is a minimum level of security that a system, network or device must adhere to. The guideline points to a statement in a policy or procedure by which to determine a course of action. It's a recommendation or suggestions of how things should be done. A procedure is the most specific of security documents. A procedure is a detailed, in-depth, step-by-step document that details exactly what is to be done. A security model is a scheme for specifying and enforcing security policies. Example, Bell and LaPadula BIBA access control list. Information classification. It is essential to classify the information according to its actual value and the level of sensitivity in order to deploy the appropriate level of security. A system of classification should ideally be simple to understand and to administer, effective in order to determine the level of protection the information is given, and it's also applied uniformly throughout the whole organization. Information classification. With the exception of information that is already in the public domain, information should not be divulged to anyone who is not authorized to access it, or it is not specifically authorized by the information owner. Violation of the information classification policy should result in disciplinary proceedings against the individual. Number of information classification levels in an organization should be manageable. Number as having too many mix of maintenance and compliance difficulty. Roles and responsibilities, internal roles, external roles and human resources. Internal roles like executive management, information system security professionals, owners, data and system owners, operational staff, users, legal compliance and privacy officers, internal auditors, physical security officers. External roles can be like vendors and suppliers, contractors, temporary employees, customers, business partners, outsourced relationships, outsourced security. Human resources like employee development and management, hiring and termination, signed employee agreements, educations. Thank you.